Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
We assume that's the Bahamas. 544 miles per hour, 46, 56 degrees.
So, one of the classes I teach is chocolate science. So that's awesome, right?
Yes, it is awesome.
It is. I teach wine and beer and Western culture, brewing science, and kitchen science too.
Kitchen science.
So yes, kitchen science. All about the safety and the science of food in the kitchen setting. So really awesome classes.
Please give it up for Brian. Woo, thank you.
Hello, I'm Farnaz Maliki, and my research is mainly lipids, fats, and oils, which is not only for chocolate. You see them almost everywhere, right? So in our bakery, in other confections,
In my stomach.
not that one. I'm not working with that one. So what I do in my research area, we mainly work on structuring crystallization of different oils and fat and make them a good and functional food when you eat them. Then you have less of those fat here, right? Because we believe fats and oils are fuel. So if you eat them, they're much better than carbohydrates, that they're gonna make lots of other fat in our bellies. So, and I also work with chocolate, particularly how we can use different oils if we want to work with cocoa butter for chocolate, and then how we can structure our chocolate with the same ingredient that you have a better texture quality, a better mouth feeling when you eat it, and it's going to be molten inside your mouth. So that's all we do through the processing and the structuring without changing anything in the ingredient of the chocolate. And how you can keep your chocolate longer. When you do it, have you ever seen the bloom on the surface of the chocolate? Which is totally fine to eat it, but probably you don't want to have it when you open your package of the chocolate. Okay?
Very cool. Thank you. Please give it up for Farnaz. So everyone got a little bag of chocolate, right? Please tell me yes, we passed it out successfully. That all came from the Department of Food Science and Technology, which you are both faculty in at The Ohio State University. I have a few questions for you guys. But first, do you guys have any questions for these experts on the world of chocolate? Have you ever been curious about how chocolate is made, or how chocolate works, or what is chocolate? You have a question?
She does.
She does. I'll come up there. I'll bring the microphone up there. You don't have to work hard in these panels. I'm the chief scientist. I get paid to do this. I'm going to come all the way up. How's it going today? Good? All right. Oh, hi.
Little one.
Okay. What is your question? We do have a question over here.
Is it fun making chocolate?
Is it fun making chocolate?
Oh, it's really a ton of fun. One thing that I do in my classes is that I get all my students to take chocolate and melt it down, like even regular Hershey's chocolate that you find in the store. Like, that's really good, awesome, and everything like that. I get them to melt it down and to kind of refreeze it to get it all solid again. And whenever you do that, you're actually doing one of the most important steps of making chocolate. It's called tempering. So you can do this at home. Just take a chocolate bar and melt it down and try different ways to freeze it back up. You can put it in the refrigerator, freezer, or you could just set it out and see how different it looks. Dr. Malecki over here talked about something called bloom. Bloom is basically a white blotchy mess on chocolate that you get whenever it's tempered very badly. So whenever you melt it down and refreeze it very badly, that's what bloom is. It's when you retemper it very badly. So it's kind of cool to see if you can get that white blotchy mess. And the thing about it is that it looks bad, but it doesn't really taste any different. It still tastes like good chocolate.
All right. Parnas, is it fun making chocolate?
It's fun, but it's not easy.
Oh.
So as Dr. Waters mentioned, you can melt your chocolate and remake it. But I am sure that you cannot get the same texture as the chocolate that you had at the very beginning. Because it's very, very important. We are working with the level of the crystallization. Even if you go to the macro scale, micro scale, and nano scale, which are different from macro scale, what we are seeing when we look at the chocolate, then those all affect the quality and the functionality of the chocolate in terms of the texture. So it's fun, but a good fun.
A good fun, a good challenging fun. Do you guys, we got some questions in the back. Very nice. Lots of people very curious about chocolate. I've got 3 hands up. Is this 3 separate questions? All right, I'll just go down the row right here, blue shirt.
Connor.
Hi, Connor. What's your question?
My question is, how many different kinds of chocolate is there?
How many different kinds of chocolate?
Oh, well, that's a very good question, Connor. It depends on who you ask. So if you ask...
We're asking you.
Okay. Oh, I'm on the hot seat right now. So, I will talk. Actually, what I could tell you is I could tell you what the government actually thinks. The government lists, yeah, well, you know, I know, but the government actually does have a definition for white chocolate. I know a lot of y'all are saying, white chocolate isn't chocolate at all, but it actually is. Well, it's white chocolate. There's also milk chocolate, there's sweet chocolate, and a few other cocoa powders like breakfast cocoa and so on and so forth. So in terms of the chocolate bar that you could actually eat, there's a total of 3 different government standards: white chocolate, milk chocolate, and sweet chocolate, which is kind of more or less dark chocolate.
All right. Next question right in the row. Who is next to Connor? What's your name?
My name is Dylan, and my question is, do you have to have the same ingredients to make different kinds of chocolate?
It depends what you want to make. For example, if you're talking about dark chocolate and milk chocolate, you do have the same ingredient, but you use different percentage or different ratio of those ingredients. For example, in your dark chocolate, you have less sugar, and you have more cocoa and cocoa butter and cocoa mass and cocoa liquor, compared to the milk chocolate that has more sugar and has more milk fat rather than cocoa butter. And when you go to white chocolate ingredient is almost different from what we are using for dark chocolate, because over there we don't have any cocoa liquor and we have mainly milk powder.
Nice. One last question along this row. Back row, monopolizing the questions. Make it a good one.
Why is dark chocolate considered the healthier chocolate?
That's a very good question. White chocolate is considered the healthier chocolate because it has a higher concentration of cocoa solids. So, all of the bitter taste of, by the way, if you really want to get a kind of experience, quote unquote, grab yourself a 90+% cacao or cocoa chocolate bar. A lot of the healthy, the thing about the cocoa, the percentage of cocoa solids, is that in dark chocolate, it's kind of popular that's recorded as some sort of percentage. That is, the cocoa solids are actually pretty important for health because they contain a lot of compounds, color compounds, that act as antioxidants. And antioxidants are one of those kind of popular things that help to ward off cancer and have a whole lot of other health benefits. Now, whether it's actually true, I'm kind of hate to bust your bubble, is kind of iffy in a way, but the thing about it is that if you do consume enough of these antioxidants, and you can find a whole lot of those in cocoa solids, then that would kind of be, a lot of people think, a little bit better for your health.
And probably one of the other advantages of dark chocolate is you have less sugar in them. And we all know about sugar and its effects on us.
So I've got a question for you guys. If chocolate is made of many different things, like I eat a chocolate bar and there's many ingredients in it, what is the role of, what are the ingredients in a chocolate bar and what role do they play in the chocolate experience?
Oh, that is a very long question. So I'll try to answer as best as I can, and Barnes could pick up where I fail. But there's several different important ingredients in chocolate, and it kind of depends on what particular type of chocolate we're talking about. But we'll go ahead and start off with milk chocolate because it kind of contains a little bit of everything. So we've got, starting off, cocoa solids. And cocoa solids contain a lot of the bittering compounds, a lot of the flavor compounds that we kind of ascribe to chocolate. So whenever we have we taste something and it kind of has a chocolate taste, it's usually because of the solids, the dark colored solids in cocoa solids. Then we have kind of pretty much the most important ingredient in chocolate called cocoa fat. Now, cocoa fat, I could actually back up like this. Cocoa fat is actually kind of mixed in a lot of times with the solid part in cocoa pods. And cocoa pods usually they look really weird whenever they grow. They kind of grow on the barks or the trunks of evergreen trees, usually in Central South America and Africa. But anyway, cocoa fat part is really important for the melting properties, the texture, a lot of times the mouthfeel, the creaminess of chocolate. And I think it's really kind of special, well, nerd me says it's kind of special, that cocoa fat actually contains a lot, or a good deal, of saturated fat. And it's one of the only plant sources of saturated fat there is. There aren't a whole lot. As for a couple of other things, the thing in milk chocolate that gives it its creaminess, kind of the milky flavor, is of course a lot of milk ingredients. It could be things such as sugars such as lactose, which is milk sugar. Could be milk fat, could be milk solids, sweetened condensed milk. There's lots of different ways to add milk products to there. And a couple of other smaller things, you have things such as vanilla flavoring, which is kind of a very popular flavoring when it comes to milk chocolate. Although nowadays you can find a whole lot of other chocolates that have lots of very kind of unique and special flavors to them. Kind of one of my favorites, and well, this is kind of dark chocolate, is going to be red pepper. red chili pepper chocolate. Don't knock it till you've tried it, guys. It's really awesome.
Good advice.
So I just add a little bit about cocoa butter and lipids in chocolate. Probably because I am a lipid scientist, I'm a little bit biased about that. But we believe that that part is a very important section of the chocolate, just because the other ingredients in the chocolates are mainly solid at room temperature, right? Even when we just digest it, when we have it, when we put it in our mouths, they are still solid. But the lipid one is the one that gives you a very, let's say, very happy face when you eat your chocolate, right? Because that's all about chocolate. You want to have fun and you want it delicious and you want to enjoy it when you eat chocolate. So when you put it in your mouth, that fat, lipids, is the one that it gives you that very smooth and very, not waxy texture of the chocolate. So it's very important. And when we add, and that's all about cocoa butter. We have tons of other fats that may have the good melting profile, but cocoa butter is the one that is going to be molten inside the mouth as long as we eat it. And if it's too hard, if we want it a little bit softer, we just replace some of those cocoa butter with milk fat. That is much softer, but again, when you eat it, you will have a very nice feeling, same as when you had your butter, right? When you just spread a little bit of butter on your bread and eat it. So what all those ingredients does, probably some very detailed questions that we have to go through each of those. But again, as a lipid science, I would say lipid section is the most important, and what is the structure of that lipids.
Very fascinating. Thank you for the very detailed response. Any more questions? I think we have time for maybe one more good question. If someone's curious, right here. Don't tell me you found a tree nut in your chocolate after I told you there weren't any.
So I was wondering, so there are like more mainstream chocolates with, like Hershey's chocolate and stuff. So are those better because, more people like them, or more obscure like brands of chocolate better? Like which one do you think is more well made, I guess?
Very interesting question. What makes a good chocolate good? And is Hershey's a good chocolate?
Oh, okay. I'm going to go ahead and say that if you like Hershey's chocolate, it's good. It does not matter what anybody else says. If you like it, that's it. But there is a reason why Hershey's chocolate is so inexpensive. Because they do take a shortcut here and there. One big shortcut is if you ever, I know you want to kind of take a Hershey's bar and kind of gobble it down. Because, yeah, chocolate, awesome Hershey's, and yay, we're having a great time. But if you can, not only with Hershey's, but anytime you eat a piece of chocolate, just try to feel a little bit of the grittiness and texture of the chocolate. What you'll find out with Hershey's is that Hershey's actually has a lot more grittiness to it than other chocolates if you compare them. And the reason why is that Dr. Maleki said that making chocolate was really kind of a hard thing to do. There's lots of different steps. One of those steps is to take all of the chocolate cocoa nibs and grind them up until they're a thin paste. And this entire process, or that little process, is called conching. So the longer you do it, and the slower you do it, the thinner and less gritty your chocolate's going to be. But the thing about it is, in food processing, the more time you spend on doing something, the more energy and the more money you have to put into making it. So a good way to get past that is just say, okay, we're going to accept a little bit of grittiness in our product, and that'll be fine. Another thing, kind of the second big thing, is that Hershey's also, if you tasted milk chocolate and compare it to other types of milk chocolate, it kind of tastes a little bit sour, maybe a little bit like kind of spoiled milk. I know, I love Hershey's, guys. I'm seriously not talking bad about them. But Hershey's actually has a kind of a proprietary method of pressure cooking milk before it's added to their milk chocolate. And a lot of people speculate that this entire process causes the lipids in the milk to kind of spoil in a way and taste a little bit rancid, spoiled. So anyway, Hershey's is a good chocolate. I know I said a whole lot of bad things about it, but I still like Hershey's.
Do you like Hershey's? Is it a good chocolate, and what makes a good chocolate? Wrap it up for us.
Okay, so I don't think that you are asking particularly if Hershey's is good or not, right? So you're asking why we have different brands that we like them more than the others. Yes? So as you know, as you, for example, cook at home, it depends what is your ingredient, right? If you are going to a very best ingredient, or if you just pick something. So those good factories, and in probably famous factories like Hershey's, like Mars, like Dove, they all have good ingredients, first of all. The second thing is that they are in chocolate science for a long period of time. So they know chocolate science. They have all the technology, all the instruments, everything that they need to make a good chocolate, they have it. And they are still in contact with the universities, with the research scientists, to give them more of the processing and tips and tricks, right? So that's why they are good in making chocolate. However, at the same time, we have lots of homemade chocolate, lots of small factories that they also know what is the best processing of the chocolate, and they make good chocolate. So bottom line is chocolate has probably 50-50 between the ingredient and the processing. So if you only have the good ingredient, it's 50%. The rest is how you're gonna make the chocolate. And those all big companies, they know how to make it, that's why you like it.
Very cool. That's all the time we have. Please give a warm, big hand to our panelists.